And my learned friends, Mr. Otiende Amolo, Mr. Paul Mwangi, Mr. Professor Mtaha Kangu, Professor Ben Sihanya, Mr. TJ Kajuang, Mr. Peter Kaluma, Honorable Mili Odhiambo, Ms. Julie Soweto, Norman Magaya, Dan Manzo, Anthony Olwoch, Willie Sotieno, Jackson Awele, Madeline Murumba, Celestine Opio, Mr. Maumo, Judy Olo, Arnold Oginga, and Kevin Wakwaya. Those are the appearances for the petitioners.
Thank you, Mr. Orengo. Mr. Mwite.
The first and second respondents are represented by the same team of lawyers whose names you have on record already. I think in the interest of saving time,
No, read them out. Read them out.
Where's the list? My Lord, the first and second respondents are represented by myself with Kamau Karoli, Senior Counsel Luce Kaboni, Professor PLO Lumumba, Cyprian Wekesa, Mr. Sisule, Diego, Paul Ilan, Eric Gumbo, Mr. Mukele, and Mr. Murugu. Isa has gone for prayers. Isa Mansour.
Thank you.
Yes, my Lord Chief Justice and Judge of the Supreme Court, for the third respondent, my name is Ahmed Nasir. I'm appearing with my learned friends Ken Ogeto, Evans Monari, Katwa Keegan. Fred Ngatia will join us later, my Lord.
Thank you, Mr. Nasir. Please raise your voice. You are far off.
Your Lordship, the Chief Justice.
Just a minute. You get the microphone.
Thank you very much. Your Lordship, the Chief Justice, Your Ladyship, the Deputy Chief Justice, Your Lordships and my lady, Harrison Kinyanjui, up here for Professor Michael Wainaina Mwaura, an independent candidate, first interested party.
Thank you, Mr. Kinyanjui.
May it please the court. My name is Elias Mutuma. I appear alongside Mr. Ignatius Mohatia for the second interested party, Dr. Ikuru Court. Thank you.
Thank you.
A very good morning, my Lord Chief Justice and judges of the Supreme Court. It is Eid and it is a happy day. I am honored to introduce Mr. Kaumba Samuel, who holds brief for the first amicus curiae, the Honorable the Attorney General. My name is Stephen Mwenesi. For the second amicus, the Law Society of Kenya, Stephen Mwenesi, I appear with Mr. Omwanza Ombati in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counsel. First and foremost, as you can see, we are 6. I'm sure you are aware that the Honorable Justice Ibrahim was taken ill. He is in hospital. I have spoken to him this morning. He's doing very well. And by the grace of God, he should be discharged in a few days. And in 2013, the court read the decision of the court without a full judgment. That was not received very well. And the expectations were that this morning we should read a full judgment. You know, we have had long hearings. Some of them have gone to late at night. We concluded the hearing on Tuesday, well after 9 o'clock. I want to state that given the tons of material placed before us, it was not humanly possible to go through that record and write a reasoned and well-considered judgment. That we will do on a later date. So I'm sorry we have to disappoint those who expected a full judgment today, and I believe to a large extent the nation. But you will understand that given the timelines we have, if we don't deliver a judgment today, we will cause a constitutional crisis. So what we have this morning is a determination of the court. Now, before I read that determination, I want to say this. The greatness of a nation lies in its fidelity to its constitution and a strict adherence to the rule of law. And above all, the fear of God. Having said that, I would now like to read the determination of the court. The hearing of this petition was concluded on Tuesday, 29th August 2017, well after 9 p.m. The judges thereafter retreated to deliberate on the various issues for determination as crafted by the court. The issues were, number one, whether the 2017 presidential election was conducted in accordance with the principles laid down in the Constitution and the law relating to elections. Number two, whether there were irregularities and illegalities committed in the conduct of the 2017 presidential election. Number three, if there were irregularities and illegalities, what was their impact, if any, on the integrity of the election? Number four, what consequential orders, declarations, and reliefs should the court grant, if any? Having carefully considered the above issues, the following is the majority decision of the court with two judges, the Honorable Justice Ojwang and the Honorable Justice Ndungu dissenting. As to whether the 2017 presidential election was conducted in accordance with the principles laid down in the Constitution and the law relating to elections, upon considering inter alia Articles 10, 38, 81, and 86 of the Constitution, as well as Sections 39(1)(c), 44, under 44A and 83 of the Elections Act, the decision of the court is that the first respondent failed, neglected, or refused to conduct the presidential election in a manner consistent with the dictates of the Constitution, and inter alia, the Elections Act, Chapter 7 of the laws of Kenya. Number 2, as to whether there were irregularities and illegalities committed in the conduct of the 2017 presidential elections, the court was satisfied that the first respondent committed irregularities and illegalities inter alia in the transmission of results, particulars, and the substance of which will be given in the detailed and reasoned judgment of the court. The court, however, found no evidence of misconduct on the part of the third respondent. Number 3, as to whether the illegalities and the irregularities affected the integrity of the election, the court was satisfied that they did, and thereby impugning the integrity of the entire presidential election. Before I proceed, I would now like to allow my two colleagues who are dissenting to read their views before we read the final orders of the court, and in this regard I will request the Honorable Justice Njoki to read.
This is a summarized dissenting opinion from myself. The court has rendered its judgment by a majority. I am, however, of a different opinion. At the heart of democracy are the people who will constitute the strand of governance that we have chosen as a country. On the 8th of August, 2017, millions of Kenyans from all walks of life yielded to the call of democracy and queued for many hours to fulfill their duty to our republic by delegating their sovereign power to their democratically elected representatives. This was an exercise that was hailed by many regional and international observers as largely free, fair, credible, and peaceful. That duty stands sacred and is only to be upset if there is any compelling reason to do so. That reason must affect the outcome of the election. The election was managed by the first respondent, chaired by the second respondent, who were assisted by hundreds of others to execute the mandate of the Commission under Article.
Well, are you ready? Members of the press, this is NASA's statement on the Supreme Court ruling. And they say, a victory for Kenya. 2 weeks ago, we moved to the Supreme Court to challenge the declaration of Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta as the winner of the August 8th presidential elections. We moved to the Supreme Court to lay before the world what we believe was compelling evidence of the making of a computer-generated leadership, vifaranga via computer. Now the Supreme Court of Kenya has spoken. This decision is precedent-setting. It will reverberate across Kenya, the African continent, and the rest of the world through generations to come. Never again will impunity reign in Kenya. It is now clear that no one in Kenya is above the law. A new Kenya has been born by this ruling. And Kenya is once again leading Africa, as it so often does, this vibrant democracy except at election time and enterprise. Chief Justice David Maraga will always be remembered for setting this exceptional example for all of Africa. Our judiciary now knows that they have the power in law and with courage to challenge the mighty powers too many African presidents wield against the will of their people. We thank the Supreme Court for standing up for the truth and in the process lifting the image with regard to the rule of law and judicial autonomy. We also honor the two judges who dissented. We honor them for their courage in standing up for their opinion, which we respect. They have made our justice system stronger and steadied our march towards electoral democracy. We salute our able legal team. And I want to thank the young one, Mr. Awele, whose law firm was used to file this petition. We particularly pay also tribute to the young boys and girls who spent countless hours poring over documents and who, in the end, established the IEBC fraud. We remain grateful to all those who supported the cause for which we have fought. With this courageous verdict, we put on trial the international observers who moved so fast to sanitize fraud. Their role must be re-examined, as it is highly politicized and currently puts status quo and stability ahead of credible elections. It is credible elections alone which will give us peace and stability. Of course, it wasn't always like this. The U.S. strongly supported Kenya's push for multi-party politics, although it backtracked and quickly congratulated Mwai Kibaki on his victory in 2007, victory in quotes. But thanks to the EU observers at the time and some superlative reporting by international media, it quickly shifted course, and then U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice and British Cabinet Minister Lord Mark Malloch Brown traveled to Nairobi to promote the Kofi Annan-led negotiations process. The US, UK, EU then strongly supported the passage of the rights-oriented new constitution. But after Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto's election, our partners settled for the status quo. I'm talking about elections in quotes. The court proceedings in this case revealed the utter rot at the heart of our electoral commission and the electoral process. So blatant and third time in a row. But it revealed the rot at the heart of the Kenyan state as well. There's total impunity. Extrajudicial killings continue. Corruption has reached stratospheric proportions. And there is little room for concern with the lot of the poor for whom life gets harder year in, year out. What has transpired today is but the first step in ensuring electoral justice in Kenya. There are more fundamental decisions to be made in the days ahead, including who conducts the next elections. Yes. It is now clear that the entire edifice of IEBC is rotten. Clear evidence shows that the commission was taken over by criminals who ran the the general election, using the technology system, and resulted in a computer-generated leadership for the people. This is not confined to the presidential elections. It affects also gubernatorial, senatorial, women rep, members of parliament, and MCAs. So the so-called Jubilee majority is artificial. It is now also clear that the CEO, Ezra Chiloba, Directors Immaculate Kasait, Commissioner in charge of ICT, Professor Abdi Yakub Guliye, Head of Legal Affairs, Praxidis Tororei, Mrs. Betty Nyabuto of Operations, and John Muhati of IT were co-conspirators with these criminals. They must face criminal prosecution. Yes. We urge these IEBC officials who have perpetrated a monumental crime against the people to do the right thing and resign. Yeah. It remains clear to us that the real election results were never shared with the people of Kenya, despite years of preparations for this election and billions spent on it. Somebody must take responsibility. Yeah. We will continue demanding that the servers that the IEBC refused to open, despite court orders, be opened. The truth is a critical component of justice. Kenyans must know the truth of what transpired in this election, and that the truth is contained in the servers that the IEBC is hanging onto. That if they had opened those servers, there would be no need for us to go for another election, because the servers would have vindicated us and showed who won these elections. The ruling today shows that when there is justice, peace prevails. Yeah. Our country still needs a cure for electoral impunity. As we said about a week ago, the Supreme Court ruling, even as we welcome it, will not bring to justice those who plotted and executed the theft of votes. It will not bring to justice those who murdered Chris Musando in order to steal votes. It will not hold to account those who sought to cower us into submission by unleashing terror in Mathare, Kibera, and Kisumu. Stealing of elections in Kenya is a manifestation of the culture of political impunity, an impunity that the IEBC willingly and gladly participated in. The perpetrators of 2017 electoral theft were emboldened by the fact that those who stole the 2013 elections have gone unpunished. As we said earlier, we saw some of them are the bombers of Kenya, experts in electoral fraud, supervising their second electoral fraud, which has now been brought to naught. A cure has to be found. As a country, we urgently need to discuss how we will conduct the upcoming elections. As IEBC itself has said, many changes must be made in the commission before we hold another election. But this cannot be an assignment to be carried out by the commission. Political parties and stakeholders must come together and agree on these changes. We call upon Parliament to adopt a bipartisan spirit in order to expedite reforms that may be required. It is our hope that this development can help us find common ground going forward. We say that we are not afraid of elections. We knew that we won these elections and that we can win them again. We are going to win them again. Yes. We say that the will of the people must be respected. I saw the president talking about 6 people subverting the will of 42 million Kenyans. Let him also know that 2 plus another 4 in IBC are 6, and those 6 cannot subvert the will of the people. We have said as NASA, we want free and fair elections, and we prepare to go back to these elections. Our people all over the country are celebrating. Kenya today has come to a standstill. Yes. Kenyans are celebrating. If Jubilee had won, Kenyans would be mourning. Yes. But Kenyans are celebrating exit of Jubilee. And the Kenyans are ready to show them the door in 60 days. And these Kenyans will do. So we are therefore grateful to the judiciary. We are grateful to our people, the Kenyan people, for being patient during this very trying period of time when we were going through this process. Remember, we had said we may not go to court. We wanted other people to go to court. Then there was that clampdown on AFRICOG and the Kenya Human Rights Commission deliberately to muzzle any voice of reason which could have gone to court. So we decided that as the candidates in these elections, we will be the petitioners. With my colleague here, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. And we want again to thank all the lawyers who burned the midnight oil to prepare this case so that it could succeed. Led by Honorable James Agri Orero. We salute them, salute Otienda Molo. We salute Paul Mwangi. Kongo Omogeni. Firoz Norji. Mr. Awele. Mr. Andrew Lodge. Dan Mazo. Julie Soweto. Peter Kaluma. Amos Waku. Willis Otieno. TJ Kajuang. Millie Odhiambo. Norman Magaya. Judy Sijenyi. Dan Ameyu. Mutaha Kangu. This is and many others. And then another team of very young, dedicated Kenyans, those students who worked tirelessly to look at all those forms coming from the agents in the field, shifting them and comparing them with information, forged information coming from Bomas of Kenya, which now our able lawyer, Firoz Norji, described as equivalent to the Bermuda Triangle. So, sisi kama wananasa, tunatoa shukrani kwa Wakenya wote, wale ambao walitupiga kura, wakatupatia ushindi. Ile ushindi ambayo ilikuwa naibiwa na Jubilee. Tunatoa shukrani sana kwa Mahakama Kuu ikiongozwa na Justice Maraga kwa kusimamia ukweli na kutenda haki kwa Wakenya na kuonyesha mfano kwa bara la Afrika mzima ya kwamba mahakama inaweza kutupilia mbali uchaguzi bandia ya rais. Wizi wa kura haitaweza kuvumiliwa tena katika bara la Afrika. Demokrasia ya Afrika mpaka ipanuke. Na Afrika isiangaliwe kama iko chini na nchi zingine. Pale ambaye mtu mmoja anaweza kutawala, analeta tume bandia, anaiba kura, baadaye anatuma askari kwenda kupiga wananchi ambao hawana hatia. Tunalaani vikali wale ambao waliua kinyama Bwana Chris Msando, Shetani ashindwe. Shetani ashindwe. Ili waweze kuiba kura. Hii ni unyama ambaye haina kifani. Na wale ambao walienda kuua watoto ambao wanacheza, kupiga mtoto msichana wa miaka 11 na risasi kama mtu ambaye anawinda swara, kupiga mtoto ya miezi 6 na kuua, kupiga wananchi wengine ambao hawana hatia, kuweka kwa
Global Online TV, kiteknolojia, kisasa, kidijitali. Habari utapata, interview za kijanja, vijimambo, vistori, vibweka vya mastaa. Usisahau breaking news, hapa ndio nyumbani kwao.